What's up guys, Nick Ehrlich here with the Lean Life Revolution, and today I want to walk you through my fat loss grocery list game plan so that you can learn how to get super shredded in just 6 weeks. Now, if you checked us out on Monday, you know we're heading into a leaning out cycle. So for the next 6 weeks, the focus for me and the focus for the Lean Life is going to be getting lean. Okay, now, whenever I tighten up my diet to start focusing on specific fat loss protocols, what I like to do is limit the scope of my grocery shopping to just a few foods or a few food items in each of these categories. And I do this because when you have too many variables in any equation, it gets hard to determine what the effective variables are. i.e., what are the things that are getting you closer to your goal, and what are the things that are having a neutral effect or a negative effect? And with too much variety, it's too many things to track. We don't know what's working and what's hurting us, right? So when you limit your intake like this, what you're able to do is really zero in on the foods that help your body burn fat and the foods that hurt your body, the foods that prevent you from being as efficient at fat burning as possible, okay? Now, you've heard me say before, I'm a super carb sensitive person, okay? I have found through working like this that the fewer carbohydrates I take in, I'm still able to function at a high level, but if I start taking in more carbohydrates or certain kinds of carbohydrates, I tend to store body fat very easily, okay? But that doesn't mean that I think carbs are bad. I think carbs are great. I just have to be smart about which kinds of ones I incorporate. Whereas I know people who aren't carb sensitive at all, but if they start taking a little more fat, they start to gain more body fat, okay? So what I've done is this. I've made these 4 categories: my protein, my veggies, my fats, and my carb sources. And what I'm gonna do is week by week, I'm gonna limit myself to a max of 3 things in each category. So I make sure that I can really control what I'm taking in, and I can gauge whether or not it's working for me. If I wake up at the end of the week leaner than where I started, I know these foods have worked. But if I wake up at a neutral or wake up heavier or softer, I know that there are foods in here that are not helping me. So let's go through the list. For my proteins, okay? I've got chicken. I love chicken breasts for burning body fat. I know they're boring, but it's what they are. You can make them a little better with a lot of things that we do here on this channel, but for the sake of explanation, chicken breasts are awesome, right? Next, eggs. Eggs and egg whites. I'm a huge fan of eggs. I'm a huge fan of egg whites, and I like them all the time. It's also really easy to make them quick. And then finally, Level-1 Whey Protein from Phorm. It's the best whey protein on the planet. All right, I will fight you to the death about that one. So Level-1, okay, Level-1 Whey Protein from Phorm. So chicken, eggs, Level-1. Those are gonna be my 3 protein sources this week. No other protein sources for this guy, none, that's it. Next, on to my veggies. The 2 veggies that I'm gonna put in all my meals this week are either broccoli or green beans. Again, really simple vegetables, really high in fiber, green vegetables, got a lot of vitamins and minerals, got a lot of health benefits. So broccoli and green beans, I'll probably steam the green beans, I'll probably roast the broccoli in the oven with some garlic. Ooh, never too much garlic, never too much garlic, remember that. So those will be my vegetables. Okay, next, my fat sources. I'm gonna stick to almond butter and then avocado, okay? I like almond butter because in the morning I'll make a protein shake, and I like putting almond butter in there. The other thing too is that if you're having a meal, let's say my meal is just eggs and broccoli, it's also really easy to add fat to that meal when it's almond butter because it's just, boom, taking a tablespoon out of the jar. It's really easy to measure. It's really fast. It's a way to get it in, right? And then with avocados, there's a really great healthy fat source. It's got a lot of fiber and they're really good. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can make a little bit of guac. Ooh, that's delicious. You're like, Nick, this is awesome. How are we learning fat? I know, it's unbelievable we're losing fat because it's so good. And then finally, my carb sources. I like fruit-based carb sources because I'm so carb sensitive. So my carb sources are gonna be apples and bananas, and then I'm gonna throw rice cakes in because sometimes if I'm just feeling super flat, I have no energy, I know I need to pump up my carb sources from a little something that's not fruit-based. I like rice cakes because they're easy to carry, they're easy to portion, and you know exactly what's in them and exactly how many you need. Whereas with rice, do you measure it cooked, do you measure it uncooked? Take the guesswork out of it. Rice cakes, simple unsalted rice cakes. Sometimes I'll throw a few in with a meal if I'm feeling super flat, or if I've just got a gnarly workout coming for me and I don't need to pump up my carb content to get with that a little bit. Now, we're gonna skip post-workout nutrition. We're gonna get back to post-workout nutrition when we're losing fat later on in another video. But for my work for the week, for my diet for the week, this is how it's gonna look, okay? You don't need variety. Too much variety is your enemy, okay? Variety is the spice of life should mean variety is the mayonnaise of life because it makes you fat. Don't be fat with variety. Be lean with simplicity. Okay, we're gonna get ripped up by embracing simple diet protocols. So start thinking about these 4 categories and how you're gonna limit your intake in these 4 categories to really make sure you're zeroing in on the foods that work and eliminating the foods that don't. I wanna thank you for checking this out. I wanna thank you for joining the revolution. Subscribe right here, click in here and subscribe to this video. We'll see you right back here. Laters.